So today we're putting the brand new Minn Kota Quest trolling motor onto my boat. And hopefully by the end of the day we're actually going to catch a couple of fish. Well, that's what they want. They want the glide bait up over there. Alright guys, we are officially back with another video. Very exciting day. We're obviously in the truck.
Turn left onto 133rd Street, West Prairie View Road.
We're obviously taking a little road trip. We obviously have the Warrior in tow. Truck's a complete disaster from about a month and a half on the road, which we still got to clean that out. Kind of embarrassing. But we are headed down to the boat center down here in Chippewa Falls. The place I got my Warrior from, the place that rigged my Warrior, and just overall great people, great dealership. But we're excited today to pick up a new piece of equipment.
Turn left onto 133rd Street, West Prairie View Road.
That's getting annoying. We're excited today to pick up a new piece of equipment, which I've kind of been looking forward to for a while. You know, as a fisherman, as a YouTuber, many of us get excited about new pieces of technology, new pieces of equipment, right? And I feel like personally my job is to give you an unbiased review, not so much of you know, this product's made out of this carbon fiber, blah, 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 because it cuts a 0.2% weight difference. You know, my job is most of the time, and the only thing I feel like I'm really good at, I'm not like this big techie head type of angler, but to give you guys kind of practical sense of why I like a certain thing over another thing, or a practical review. So today we're putting the brand new Minn Kota Quest trolling motor onto my boat. And hopefully by the end of the day, we're actually going to catch a couple of fish. Relatively ambitious plan. I was up till 2:30 last night editing another video, but that's kind of the goal. So we're just rolling in here to the boat center, and one of the things these guys absolutely excel at, which is incredibly important in today's day and age, if you're going to get a graph put on, if you're going to get a trolling motor put on, if you're going to buy a boat and have it rigged, is rigging. These guys rig hardcore fishing boats. They don't rig pontoons on the side. They don't do this on the side. They rig hardcore fishing boats. All these boats this day and age have so many, there's so much going on. We talk about rigging a boat with multiple graphs, multiple transducers, making sure everything talks to each other. These guys are the best at it. So I want to give you guys a little taste of that, and hopefully break down the trolling motor by the end of the day. But here we are, we're obviously at the boat center now, and it's a very exciting day. All right guys, we are back in the truck. The boat is dropped off, and the guys at the boat center are going to do some of their phenomenal rigging per usual. Like I said, and I cannot talk about this enough, how valuable it is to have a place that really knows what they're doing when it comes to rigging up a lot of these hardcore fishing boats. Lots of graphs, lots of Ethernet, the new trolling motors, you know, that are, there's a lot going on in these boats. So to take it to somewhere like this where they're very accustomed to rigging up fishing boats, bass boats, you know, whatever it might be, with a lot of this high-end electronic stuff, is worth its weight in gold. That would be my biggest tip of, or my biggest piece of advice to someone maybe looking to upgrade their boat. Bring it to somewhere when you rig it that knows what they're doing. And the boat center here in Chippewa Falls, or Ramsey, I'm sure, is the same way. Phenomenal job. But we got a couple hours to kill. I think we might run over to Shields, maybe get a little lunch, maybe shoot a little bow at the Shields. We'll see what we're gonna do. But soon we'll be back here at the boat center picking up the boat with the sexy new Minn Kota Tarova Quest on it. All right guys, successful install. And we are leaving the boat center, headed back up to the Northwoods. Now, I'll link the boat center down below for anybody who wants to get stuff rigged the right way. Or if you want to buy the most badass walleye fishing boat in existence, you can do that as well. But what do you do when you get a new piece of equipment? You take it out and torture test it immediately. So that's what we're going to do. We're hopefully...
Take the next right onto 133rd Street. Getting
kind of late in the day already. It's been kind of a long day of not getting up on time because of editing late and things of that nature. But we're going to head back up north, hopefully slip the boat in the water this evening, and hopefully put a few walleyes in it and kind of walk through some of what I believe the benefits are of this trolling motor. All right, here we go. The first dump in the water. Did you see this collar thing that's on here? So instead of sliding that thing down, they now have a movable one, which we'll give you guys the rundown here in a little bit, but pop that. Now that was essentially what was locking it in place.
How cool.
Yeah.
And that's
simple thing, but playing with it at ICAST, I saw that.
Depth collar as well. A lot of power.
A lot of power.
Holy cow. That'll throw you out of the boat.
Yeah. Well, we're going to do a little basin cast and see if we can catch a few fish, and then we'll give you guys the new Minn Kota breakdown here. That one just chased a little bit. Got him. Yep. Right there. All right. Fish number one of the day, about 3 casts in. Gonna be one of those big old basin walleyes. And casting these kind of weight forward spinners can often obviously be just the way to go when it comes to catching these things. And it's just one of those ways, you guys, if you guys watch this channel enough, which you obviously have, you guys know it's kind of one of my absolute favorite ways to fish. Not only is it just really fun and interactive, but a lot of times you're tangling with some of the better fish in the system, like this one right here, huh? Take them like that.
That's a good fish.
Yeah.
For the 3rd cast.
And the first thing we started saying, or as we started driving this trolling motor, is like you got to turn it down because it's got so much thrust.
Fast.
Yeah, I mean, we had it on 5 and we were doing, or 8 and we were doing 3/4 throttle essentially, and we were doing, what was that, like 2.6?
Up to 3.
Yeah, so I mean, the
Crazy,
boat will easily, you could easily troll muskies with this trolling motor if that was something that was on your agenda to do. But look at that, man. I mean, first walleye of the day. Had to get my walleye fix in today. Had to come out and at least catch one. It was a long day of just driving around for the most part, so it feels good to get one. Got him. See how long I danced that thing up above him? Wow. That was Fort Peck style right there. Man, just put on a deep glide bait. You know, some of these fish were just having a lot of problems with them following. Just put on something you could snap a little bit more, and yank it around up high in the water column. That one bit. That was like the second one I casted at like that. Not a giant one, but still super fun. Look at him. About as good as it gets right there, man. Doing the open water suspended bite out here in the basin. Ton of fun. And he puked up a whole bunch of stuff, didn't he?
I mean, you can do this with a lot of different baits.
It's just got to be heavy enough in the summer to get down to them.
Yeah,
that's the main thing. There's somewhere out in there. The only issue is you'd like every time you caught a fish on one, we'd break the bait. That one's already chasing. Well, that's what they want. They want the glide bait up over the head.
Open water glide bait.
Yep. So we're sitting in about 45 right now, working the bait, you know, halfway down in the water column. And they're smashing it. And if that's not the funnest way to fish, I don't know what is. Because it doesn't get any better than that, man. And those fish were out there about, 80, 90 feet. Way up off bottom. The only other way you're contacting any of these fish really outside of fishing this way is, obviously just by trolling. Not giants, but hey, man. Totally kind of middle of nowhere bite, You probably want a glide bait, huh? One of us is right over top of them. Oh, they're starting to shoot. Got him? There we go. I could just tell that one of them was about to go. That's gonna be a good one too. That's a fun way to fish, huh?
Unbelievable.
Summer walleye fishing. That's gonna be a better fish too, I think.
You wouldn't believe it.
Summer walleye fishing in the basin. Doesn't get any better than that.
You just would not even.
Oh yeah, real nice swallow there. There we go. It's more fun than just reeling a search bait in a straight line. Both obviously very effective ways to fish, but you need players. And you know, for northern Wisconsin walleye, it doesn't get much better, does it? It's pretty awesome.
And to catch them doing
yeah,
what we're doing.
pretty cool.
Very cool. Funky little squad.
Yeah, he does. Well, he probably got caught 9 times in slipbobber season.
Yeah.
There he goes, back down. All right, guys, we are done with the fish catching portion of today's video. Kind of one of those days. Obviously spent most of the day driving. Wanted to kind of film the process and plug the boats in a little bit because they do such a great job of rigging this stuff. And that really does make all the difference, as I've said 1,000 times in this video already. But time to do our first impressions on the Minn Kota Terrova Quest. First of all, it's a much bigger base than before. Everything's like much more rigid looking. And obviously that's all great. But you know, one thing I always say is, you know, we could go through the technical side of it's this, and this percentage more. But what it really is, right off the bat, is 1,000 times faster. They're like right out the gate. It seems like it has a lot more thrust. Like here, I'll put this on like a mid-throttle level, turn it sideways, and you're just gonna see that boat just kick super quick, right? Going into the wind, it seems to just have an enormous amount of power. So we'll just put this on like a 8 or a 9 here. One thing you also get rid of is before, a lot of the trolling motors, what would happen is when you put it on a really high rate of speed, you'd watch the head just go like, and the whole thing's just kind of rattling. So we're going 3 miles an hour right now on 8, setting 8 in a 20.5-foot fiberglass boat. And there's 0 rattle to it. The thing's incredibly quiet when it runs. I mean, we're going 3.2, 3.3 now. I mean, just hauling for a trolling motor. And this isn't even full speed, right? So it's pretty impressive, obviously. The other thing I noticed, if you're a guy who does a lot of fishing like I do, where maybe you're up here in the bow a lot, is you spend a lot of time like going fast, then all of a sudden, let's say, you know, like, oh, there's a fish right there. Put on the brakes real quick. You get so much more immediate power right away. I mean, it's basically throws like a wall of whitewater up here if you have the trolling motor too high. Incredibly powerful. It also turns faster. That's a big thing I noticed too. So if you do a lot of this kind of sharpshooting style of fishing, you know, one important thing to me is always that, you know, you can kick the boat sideways to follow this fish. So we obviously we got one big mark out here about 80 feet right now, and I'll kind of show him to you. So he's sitting right out in there. But let's say if I want to kind of, like a lot of times I'll make a cast and I'll be like, oh man, I'm getting too far to the left, and I'll kick that boat sideways so I can start picking that fish up again. And it makes it real quick to make a lot of these like real little adjustments because the motor has a lot more thrust and it moves a lot faster. Now there's a ton of other features too. One of those, we can kind of come back here to the back. If you just want to follow me back real quick, we got a million things going on back here as a typical day in the boat goes. But if we go to view on our Humminbird, not view maybe, we want to go to menu, come over here to accessories. And what you're going to see when I go to this, I'm going to go on to Minn Kota motor settings, and then I'm going to go to battery monitoring. And now what you're going to see is it's going to give me and this is a pretty cool screen here. I haven't set up a bunch of this stuff yet, time and everything like that. It's going to give me my prop speed, percentage of my battery voltage. Pretty cool, and you can kind of modify this to whatever kind of batteries you have. I haven't gone through and done the whole setup yet, but to be able to monitor that all right on your Humminbird through the One Boat Network, pretty cool if you ask me. Now there's some other stuff which we'll get into kind of as, you know, I fish more and more with this thing. One of the cool things is, I would say this, when I go to pick this motor up, you know, there's always that process of like, oh, where's this? Because this goes into that ram mount when I'm running in rough water. So the second I hit this to pick the motor up, it's going to turn it right to where it knows to stow, which is pretty cool. And you might be looking at this thing thinking, man, this is a lot bigger. You know, it's got to be super heavy. Well, it's all lift assisted, so it's incredibly light in there, and then obviously it stows real quick. The other thing, this is the new collar on here. It's a totally redesigned collar on these new ones. So instead of having that thing you'd have to twist that would always get kind of like rusted up in there, let's say you want to drop the depth, you know, like use the whole shaft of the trolling motor, pop that out, slide it up here, lock it down, boom, good to go. Let's say you're running down the highway or running in a bunch of rough water and you want to lock it this way, put it all the way at the bottom and go like that. And you might think like, oh, that thing's going to move a lot, right? False. It doesn't really move much at all. Now when I put this in, it might, if I have it set up already, to go straight to pointing straight out the mount of the trolling motor as well, which is kind of cool. But no, this thing does not move. You can see pressing on it, that collar's not, it's not going down to the bottom like the old like nut style one would. So there's a lot of cool features with this new trolling motor. I'm glad I got to kind of come out and play with one. There's a bunch of new features you can use on the foot pedal. There's like a drift feature, a dodge feature, all of these different things you can do right on the trolling motor foot pedal or on the new remote, which I wish I could tell you about, but to be honest with you, I haven't had enough time to play with it yet, but we'll get to those. So those are kind of first impressions on the new Minn Kota Terrova Quest series. Pretty impressive motor. Would you agree so far?
It's
Quiet,
impressive.
fast, ton of power.
Super quiet.
That's kind of the main things which I've noticed so far. But hopefully you guys kind of enjoyed this video. I'm gonna go home. This was kind of an unintended little YouTube video we decided to film, but anytime I get a big new piece of equipment, I like to kind of tell you guys my first impression. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching us catch a few fish. Stay tuned for more content. We'll see you guys next time.